In the golden age of kickboxing, there was a sudden death elimination tournament, where 16 masters from all different backgrounds and styles came together to test themselves for honor and for glory. This was the legendary K-1 Grand Prix, where the best talent all fought multiple times in one night to determine who was truly the greatest in the world. We began in the epic 1997 Grand Prix, where 11 of the 15 fights ended by KO. After several incredible fights, the remaining competitors were now in the quarterfinals. And now, two of the greatest martial artists on earth would meet to face off in the ring. Ernesto Hoost was an experienced Dutch kickboxer who already had several impressive wins under his belt. He was known for his devastating leg kicks and his unique, especially painful checks when someone tried to kick him. Jerome had been in K1 for 2 years and had already defeated such greats as Mike Bernardo. He had a karate background but had studied several other powerful styles. He was inspired by Bruce Lee's JKD to fight with his dominant right hand forward from southpaw. This resulted in a straight, powerful jab that helped him set up his tremendous shots. In their first encounter, Hoost had gotten knocked around and thrown off balance during most of the early exchanges. This was in part due to Lebanner's size and strength, and in part due to his excellent positioning and posture. But then, Hoost had capitalized on some great counter-striking opportunities, where he could put his speed and reflexes to use. When Lebanner threw roundhouses at Hoost's body, Hoost targeted his support leg. When Lebanner tried a lead hook, Hoost cover blocked and returned fire, sneaking an uppercut under his arm and finishing by framing into a hard leg kick. Did I mention that Hoost had a thing for leg kicks? However, Hoost then ran into major problems when he tried to press his advantage. I may have mentioned something about Hoost's leg kicks being his best weapon in the past, but Lebanner found a way to punish him for it, intercepting with a right hook. Although the punch started wide, it had a way of arcing in to sneak inside of Hoost's guarding hand. But even if the hook itself didn't land, Lebanner could simply straighten his arm to turn the punch into a frame. Hoost ended up on the floor again and again, and while this may not be especially damaging to a fighter's body, it can definitely sap their confidence and wear down their stamina. With Hoost's bread and butter doing him no good, Lebanner launched a major offensive at the end of round 2. Mr. Perfect was still dangerous. However, he was in no condition to take the full brunt of Lebanner's aggression. Like catapults slamming rocks into a fortress, Lebanner launched his fists into Hoost's guard until it crumbled. But now, it was finally time for Hoost to take his revenge. If he could. At first, it seemed as though this fight would be a repeat of the previous fight, only faster. Hoost ended up on the floor yet again after attempting his first leg kick. Lebanner, now full of confidence, blitzed Hoost into the ropes and began to rain down a torrent of crushing blows. But it was only the start of the first round. Hoost was still fresh and at full strength. His senses were not dulled, but razor sharp. Hoost faded back until Lebanner attacked, then stopped short and lunged into a hard cross. But Lebanner slipped the cross at the very last moment. Hoost tried his trick again. Another miss. And again. This time, he got caught with the jab, but he kept throwing anyways, narrowly avoiding a left cross through skill or pure luck. Regardless, Hoost had a mere fraction of a second to get his bearings before Lebanner fired off a tremendous right hook, the same punch that had ended their first fight. The strike connected, but Hoost rode it back just in time, returning a vicious lead hook of his own. Lebanner reset and fired off a jab. But now, Hoost's timing was perfect. He slipped the punch and winged a thunderous rear hook right into Lebanner's chin. Lebanner was shaken, and Hoost used his next right to step out and angle in, a tactic designed to force the opponent to waste time readjusting their position. Lebanner was still hurt. He clumsily turned to face Hoost, only to find a wall of red slamming into him. Hoost's fists flew at Lebanner from all angles. Lebanner stayed calm and tried to respond to each and every punch, but he simply couldn't stop all of them. A right upper hit flush, then an arcing left hook, and finally a right straight that sent Lebanner crumpling to the canvas. The fight was over. The score was now 1-1. The two would meet 3 more times, with 3 more knockouts. But for now, Hoost was set to advance to the next round of the tournament, where he would face yet more legends to decide who was the undisputed king of kickboxing. Stay tuned for the rest of the tournament arc. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Glory Kickboxing for providing me with this content. If you want to watch the best kickboxing in the world, then watch Glory Collision 4 on October 8th to see what is most likely the final showdown between the 2 legends, Alistair Overeem and Badr Hari. From the Modern Martial Artist, this has been David Christian, wishing you happy trading.